Then we can kind of keep, our relationship growing and building.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing about it is that too many people put their children at the center
Woo.
of their relationship.
Yes.
And then when you become an empty nester and the kids are gone and you're looking like,
I don't know who you are.
what's your name again? Who are? Tell me about yourself.
Like your running joke. Like when I say you said such and such and such, and you'll be like, you. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
Hey, honey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I don't know. I feel like I'm cheesing a little bit more today because
Why?
Like a couple weeks ago we shared about our doggy and how he's.
We shared about your dog?
You know what? See,
we shared about our dog.
Are we not starting off on a good foot here? I'm just wondering.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Share with the people.
Tell me where we at. Are we on the same?
Share with the people the status of our dog.
Our dog, yes, he's doing good. He did. He tore his ACL, and the doctor said he's making great progress without surgery.
I'm sure everybody out there was wondering what's going on with Bear.
Yes. I'm dog mom. Okay. I'm like.
Yep. You are. I'm dog whisperer. Caesar Milan,
I think you are dog antagonizer. That's what you are. Okay. But I'm just thankful.
Look, people don't hate on me. I just didn't grow up with dogs, and I'm just trying to make my family happy.
Yes, and so
have pets.
Yes, so he's had a good week of being able to go on walks and all of that, and
that's evident. That's evident to him requesting walks.
He's back to annoying us sometimes about the walks. So anyway, I'm happy.
I guess if you're gonna have a dog, you gotta be willing to take him for a walk. So.
That's why, and I do that. I take care of him.
And we appreciate you.
Praise the Lord.
That's not even what we're talking about today. So
no, but
I think it's interesting that we're talking about the dog.
Yeah.
And I think we've got people of all ages and ranges that are out there that, listen to us and follow us. And the dog is what we focus on now because we're empty nesters.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm happy now. I think it took me a while to get happy. Are you happy about being an empty nester?
I just didn't know what to expect. So, we're just putting this out here to really set the expectation for you all that haven't got here yet. I'd say I'm happy. Were
you immediately happy?
Well, I think at first I was going to be like, man, my baby's gone and, it's just the two of us and, how's life going to shift? But we're having a pretty good time. Like, without them, not having to hurry home and worry about kids. And we haven't had to do that for a while because they were older. But I don't know. It's just, I feel free.
You know what? I think that's a really good point. Okay, so empty nesting.
It's like Amistad. Give us free.
You know what? Did you liken us being parents to slavery? Is this what we doing now? Or to being locked up or something? I don't. That's extreme.
Not what I was thinking.
You said that was Amistad, okay? And he was locked up.
Right. It just seemed to fit the situation. So. Or I could have went, with like Mel Gibson and the Patriot freedom.
See,
it's all good.
But we had these kids, and then we're so excited.
I love the kids.
Yeah, we act like we're so excited. Oh my gosh, these babies! And then they grow up, and we want them to get out. But I think we want them to get out because they're expensive. They take up time. Girls are emotional. I think freedom from those obligations and all of that I can get. But at first, the word that I used was that it's weird.
Yeah.
It felt odd for us to have no kids in the house and to be able to do whatever we wanted to do without their activities and all of that. And so I'm going to say for me, solidly 6 months or more, I felt it was weird. And I was always anxiously awaiting my young one to come home because the oldest wasn't going to come home. She lives across the country. But I was just always like, when is she going to come home or when am I going to see her again? And it's funny because this year was the first time she was gone, like, 'cause she goes to school only an hour and a half away.
Mm-hmm.
And this year she went almost a month and a half without coming home. And I was like, what is she doing? Like, I got comfortable with her coming home like once a month or me going to see her or whatever. But then when she went a month and a half, I was like, girl, wait a minute now. I need to see you.
And I think for some of the people who are listening, empty nesting is just basically when the kids have either moved out for good, or in our case, our youngest is away at school, most of the year. She may be home part of the time during the summer, but it's like coming to the end because she's gonna have internships and things like that. And so we're empty nesting, but it's like
Yeah.
partial year because she'll be home for summers, but this is probably last summer she's gonna be home because
Yeah.
she'll have an internship next summer, and
Yeah,
then
I don't want to think about it.
then she's off on her own. So
And somebody even they called me on the carpet a little bit. They were like, "Are you fully empty nested?" And I was like, "Wait a minute. I thought don't take away my
partial,
street cred, like
right? Partial, fully, it's all good to
I
me.
mean, when they're off the payroll, I suppose you're fully
Yeah,
empty nested. They're out of the house and they don't need you or depend on you financially. I guess that's fully empty nested. But so no, we're not there yet. But we're used to just us in the house.
yeah, but I think the misconception is that parents are going to be like super sad or overwhelmed with despair, and we've got some friends and they're about to enter the same phase as us, and they are like, look, deuces,
Get out.
see ya. And they are looking forward to it because I think since the kids have been out of the house, we just are more spontaneous to
Yeah.
get up and do things and
Yeah.
connect with our friends, or hey, the only thing that drives us home sometimes is this lunatic dog. But
Now he's a lunatic.
the
See,
dog
that
brings us
came
back
out
home.
really easy. That you know what
I only say that because the dog has some anxiety.
He does
when we're not here.
He's very attached.
Yeah, he's imprinted on doggy mom.
He loves me.
And that's cool. That's cool. But that's the only thing that may bring us back home.
Yeah.
Sometimes if we're out, I'm like, look, I want to have fun. But
were you really really looking forward to being an empty nester?
I don't even think I had really thought about it. What I thought about, and I think most people who will listen to this, what they're thinking about is, how is my money going to change? How are my finances going to change? Because kids eat up money.
They do.
And as they get older and they're in college, if you're paying for college or helping them pay for college, that's a big expense.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that, once that ends, that, boom, okay, they're off the payroll and now I'm just going to have a windfall. But we find that in empty nesters tend to spend, 50% more money. Which,
dude, that's wild.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I looked up that stat and I was like, really? So for instance, let's just say for dining out and miscellaneous money, or
we definitely dine out
right,
more.
But if we're saying like, okay, I'm gonna give some real numbers here. That means if we were spending $500 on dining out and shopping or entertainment or whatever per month, that we are now spending $750. And I was like, I thought my expenses were gonna go down. That's what I thought.
Look. It really mean that we need to shift the money from the grocery bill to the dining out bill. Because when the kids were home, somehow we got, 2-3 solid meals a day. Kids left. It's like, we call it you on your own. You on your own.
That's what you call it.
Yeah, because it's like, look, breakfast, lunch, dinner, bro, it's
figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. I call it figure it out. Because I was the primary.
It's like I don't still need to eat.
Right, but you grown. You see,
See?
that's the thing.
See?
That's the thing. Here, this is my perspective. We're not about to have an argument on the podcast. But my perspective is I cooked for 20 plus years.
And
So
you're and
now
you're a good cook.
and so now that the kids are gone and I'm not necessarily cooking for four people, it's two of us. I'm like, oh, we both grown and we both live here. We both work at home.
Yes,
So
true.
somebody doesn't have to be me. It can be somebody, anybody. Well, not the dog, but anybody could cook.
The dog can't even scoop his own kibble out. So if he could, he'd be in there all the time.
Listen,
Just
we would be like, hey, get over here and make
like,
this.
hey, put that kibble down.
But that's the thing. I think something in me turned off. I wanted my cook hat, the chef, that person. I needed her to go away after they
I
left.
think we have come to an informal agreement in the empty nesting phase as
Yeah.
it relates to meal preparation.
What is that informal agreement?
If anyone cooks, make enough for the other person.
Because for 20 plus years, I had to ensure that four
Oh,
people were
well,
always
let me
because
finish.
what if
Let
what
me
if
finish, though.
what if I
Let me finish
no,
though.
but like I mean honestly, if I had just said, "Oh, I'm just going to make me something," and
Oh
three
no,
people
that wouldn't work. That
right.
wouldn't work.
So I think the same thing applies for the two of
yeah,
us.
yeah, that's definitely the agreement. Like if you're gonna cook, like I'm more of a breakfast cooker, so I will cook breakfast for today and potentially with leftovers.
Yeah, we
So
need
we
to have
can
leftovers.
minimize how much we cook. So that's one thing. In empty nesting, you're definitely gonna shift in how you even shop or consume. So from a budgetary perspective, I really do think that money shifts from one area to another. So
And you'll spend more dining out.
we may go up in dining out, but we typically will go down in what we do from a grocery perspective because we've had our youngest come home and she's like, "How are you guys living? Because there is no food in the refrigerator." And we're like, "Look, we surviving
We
because
do.
ain't nobody losing no weight,
No.
but we still here." So
That's true, because I did gain weight when she left. What am I doing? Are we dining out that much? Is
I
that
don't
what it
I
is?
don't think so. I don't think so,
Mm.
but that's one of the realities of empty nesting, and whether you're there today or you're going to be there one day, just know that you have to think about this from it changes some of the dynamics of the relationship and it changes some of the dynamics of your budget and how you spend money. So you have to be aware of both of those, I
Mhm.
believe, because that's a different phase. And one thing I've shared with you is that too many phases in life, we try to apply the same skills at every phase. And depending upon the phase of life you're in, the skills that worked before may not be the things that you have to utilize and apply to this current phase of life.
Mhm.
It's like trying to, do something that worked previously and say, okay, it worked then, so now I got to apply it to this same situation now. And it's not applicable now. You need to apply a different set of rules.
Mhm.
So that's one thing I think people need to be aware of when you talk about empty nesting.
Yeah. So do you feel like that happened with our meal preparation?
Yeah, well, we do meal services and like I'm not gonna name all of them, but we will have those meal services where they send us meals.
We did
Then we
that.
have
That was
to
helpful in the pandemic.
yeah, and then we'll just prepare it. And I liked it because it made us try different things and some things we may not have typically done. But then we just factored that into our grocery bill. And most of the times the meals are easy enough to prep that one of us will just if you're busy in the evening with something, I'll just make the meal. Or, I travel a lot, so it makes it easy for you just to grab it and don't have to think about it because I know when you talk about cooking and meal prep, it was always having to think about
Mhm.
the meal.
It
So
was
that
the
made it a little simpler.
groceries. It was
Yeah.
the planning of making sure that when we go grocery shopping, that it actually creates a meal. And it was multiple meals. It was going doing the grocery shopping, and it was figuring out that day what you wanted to eat, and then cooking it, and then cleaning. Like all of those decisions have to be made, and I wanted to opt out. Now I will tell you, I still like Costco, but
Well, yeah,
I don't enjoy actual grocery shopping.
yeah, and I think even we've been Costco shoppers for years, and even the way we shop at Costco now is like we say, oh, we can't do that. It's the two of us now. We
Right.
can't buy this or we can't
Right.
buy that. So we're very particular or selective about what we will choose to buy or
Mm-hmm.
purchase at Costco. But I think when you talk about empty nesting, people think they're going to spend less money, but it's not always true
That's true.
because
We're finding that out.
yeah, groceries is just one thing, but then the world is your oyster and people want to hit the road and start
Mm-hmm.
traveling and experiencing different things. And for me, I already travel a lot, so sometimes I'm like, I just want to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you say about traveling? How do you think that's changed, or how do you think people should expect it to change?
I think that because you can and you have the opportunity to, because the kids aren't around, you should go. If you have the dollars, go do it. Go, I mean, enjoy it together. I feel like this is an opportunity as a couple for us to experience things together. And what's interesting, I've talked to people, and there might be a little guilt about going on a trip without the kids for the first times, or you laughing because you didn't have that guilt, did you?
No,
But
because look, we got married young and we had kids young.
yeah,
So now I feel like we're going back and we're
right.
we're having kind of like a redo where it's just you and I. So I'm like, man, these kids, they're off living their lives. I'm like, I love them, but I'm like, man, forget them kids.
Well,
Let's go do what we want to do
right,
because they
right.
are not. Our oldest, she is out gallivanting around the
She is.
world and having fun and
Yeah.
hanging with her friends. She's not thinking about us. I mean, she does call us regularly, and we appreciate that because we want check-ins and we love you. But they call us now, like, man, where you all at now? Or
Mm-hmm.
we've been hitting the concert series, or
Right.
man, we find all the stuff to do.
Because we don't have the kids' activities, the even I would say the stuff we were doing in the community. In this moment right now, we're not doing a whole lot, and it's interesting that we can like pull back from some of that stuff
Yeah,
because
I felt like when we started empty nesting, I actually pulled back more from a
oh
lot of
yeah,
that stuff.
me too, and so I think that is, you can choose, you can decide. You don't have to be at the concert for your kid anymore. You get to decide, and I think a lot of times that can be a challenge figuring out how you want to spend your time. I do think I dived more into my work more, and I
Yeah, you
think
you
I
definitely.
have that I have probably done a little too much in diving into
I was like,
that.
girl, you auditioning for the Olympics? The way you diving in, like,
I and it has progressively gotten worse. I would say over
I
the
was
last
like,
year, like
I was about to throw a fishing rod in and reel you
I
back.
know I might need that because when you don't have the off switch for the children, I think you can also take your spouse for granted in
Man,
that they don't need your time as much as your kids did.
ooh-wee.
And I honestly, so that reeling in is probably like I think we need to allow our spouse to do that.
That's so good because somebody may be listening like, man, I got like a 7 and a 9-year-old. I'm way off from that. I'm telling you right now, you better listen and tuck this away because this can help. This can help ease some frustration or minimize some problems that can occur because if you don't have those distractions and you don't have that off switch or you don't have something to pull you away and you dive so deeply into work or a hobby you may have or something else, it can actually pull you
Mm-hmm.
in in separate directions
Right.
as it relates to a relationship.
Yeah.
And you guys know that's what we talk about here. We talk about relationships and we talk about money in the context of relationships. But if you don't have a solid foundation with the relationship, the money isn't going to matter because you're going to be dividing it up at the
Right.
end.
Oh yeah, and that's not what we are about. Like, and I
We are
think
not about that life.
right, and I have admittedly, well, one thing I will say is for work, I have started to do more travel, which I would tend not to do. I would have like 2 things per year that I would actually do while the
Yeah,
kids were in the house. And now it's like, oh, I'm doing this and that and this and that because I know I can. But also, your work is busy. So what we started to do that I think is kind of cool is when you have a trip that I can go on, I'll go.
yeah.
And if I have a trip that you can go on, I want you to come. And so that has
That's the
been
benefit of being able to work remote.
right.
So
Yes. And it has been fun to kind of at least be a little into each other's world because when you talk about who you work with or this conference or whatever and I don't know these people, I've been on to dinner with your boss and you know what I mean, like we've tried to incorporate each other in our work life because it's easy to sit back and not do that. And so I think we've been pretty intentional. We've really tried to do that because I think um the more we're away from one another, we're not building our relationship.
yeah,
And so we have sat down and we talked about, okay, here's this trip coming. This is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And then we try and figure out, are there ways to incorporate? I mean, even you got 2 trips coming up. I'm going on one with you and the other one, I might tag along because it's not that far away. And
right,
so
right.
like that's cool to have that option to do.
Yeah, and look, people think work travel is glamorous. It's glamorous until you the one doing it. So
Right.
once
Right.
you do it and you're doing it regularly, you're like, okay, this is not as fun as I thought it was. And so it makes it a little easier for me when, those opportunities where you can travel with me and, it's not me eating by myself or, just sitting in a hotel room working on my computer, being boring. But, it just makes it a little more palatable because then I've got, some companionship. And then we can kind of keep, our relationship growing and building.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing about it is that too many people put their children at the center
Woo.
of their relationship.
Yes.
And then when you become an empty nester and the kids are gone and you're looking
I don't know who you are. Who?
what's your name again? Who are, tell me about
like
yourself.
like your running joke. Like when I say you said such and such and such, and you'll be like, you don't even
You
know
don't know
me.
me.
You don't know me. And
You
I'm
don't
like,
know me.
after 25 years of marriage, I still don't know you, honey.
You don't know me.
and
But
but I think it could get like that. The schism can get bigger and wider if you don't invest
yes,
in your relationship.
yes,
And that is not just date night. That is talking about your dreams and your goals, and that's supporting each other's careers. And that is, I mean, one of the things that I feel like we've had to really work on as empty nesters is our communication because I have said this is that our kids have been a communication like buffer. So
mm-hmm.
with them being here, typically we would talk about what they have going on or we would
Or
shut
try and
down.
get them to engage with us and tell us about their day or
Right. And but
what's
we would
happening with
also
them.
when we needed to talk about stuff, we wouldn't say certain things in front of them. We would just have our own private conversations, but we would have to make that intentional. And
Yeah,
so like we've had to really work on hearing what the other person is saying and not assuming we know because I think with the kids it was I think you and I really adopted it's us versus them. And then when they're not
I think
here,
I think
we don't
that's
want it to
every
be us versus us.
I think that's every parent's
Yeah.
uh, situation is it's us versus the kids.
Yeah.
And that's all we talk about, relationships. It's important to have that communication foundation because if it's an adversarial
Hmm.
relationship, then, I've always said it, if you're adversary, somebody's trying to win.
Right.
And then there's going to be a loser.
And then we can't lose in this relationship.
Right. Because then the money stuff, like I said, the money becomes an even greater issue when the relationship isn't on
Yeah.
point or on par or on target.
Right.
Then those small things become big things. And so, I think it's something to look forward to, when the kids are gone, because I feel like sometimes the kids can be a distraction from the real issue of building trust and communication and doing the things you need to do to further your relationship. And once that distraction has been removed, now you can go ahead and continue to focus and be open and honest and experience things together. And like, I'm gonna go back to travel, and I know we were talking about kind of travel in the context of work, but we proactively try and plan a trip that is just the two of us every year.
And that didn't start as empty nesters. That started
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
I remember one of the very first trips that you and I took was for our 10-year anniversary.
Oh yeah. Was that Niagara Falls?
No, that was Hawaii.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome. And then we,
That's
periodically
that's still my favorite vacation.
Yeah, yep, we went to Maui. And I think that periodically for a while we would do something just for the two of us, and then we had a travel group that some friends and us we had formed, and so for some years every year we were doing
5 or 6 years
we were going on these trips
every year,
every single year with just us, of course with our friends. But we didn't wait until, I think the biggest thing with travel is we just did not want to wait until we were retired to enjoy our travel. My grandparents retired.
I'm not trying to have to bring the hover around, bring the scooter on every trip, have
Exactly.
a minivan with it attached to
No, seriously.
the back of the car. That's when you decide to start traveling. It's like, that's when you need to stop. It's too late then.
See, and my grandparents retired and they began to travel when they were in their 60s. And while that's wonderful, and they did that for 10 years, they were part of a travel club. And every year they were going somewhere different. That was super cool. But like,
Moving
I don't want
a
to
whole
wait.
lot slower.
I don't want to wait till 65. And so we started way earlier. And that was one of the reasons getting out of debt was so important, is so that we can make room for being able to travel. And we realize like that is a commonality that we have. That's a passion that we have. That is a thing that we will spend our money on.
And we're adventure seekers. So when we travel, we want to go and do all the adventurous things. And you can't wait until you're older and less willing to take the risk to do some of the adventurous things that you can experience on some of the trips you may take, or your body is like, okay, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that we didn't wait until, one, we became empty nesters, or two, we retired. We just started doing that. And we did it at the level we were able to do it.
Right. It doesn't have to be super expensive.
It doesn't have to be like glamorous. You can take a trip somewhere in the States and go and have an adventure. And for me, adventure means explore what's unique to that area. Because we talked about 10 years going to Maui, but I remember that you and I took a trip just to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
It was just the two of us. We drove to our family and left the kids, and then we drove to bed and breakfast that was on the Canada. It was on the Canadian side, and we had such a good time.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And it was not expensive.
Right. And it was like just having the experiences and seeing what was there. And it was a great trip, and it was basically a road trip.
It was a road trip, and then you paid for the bed and breakfast. We did a winery tour. We went up the coast for like a winery tour.
Did a couple.
We did, and then we just watched the falls, of course. But it was a pretty. I mean, in terms of vacations, it was pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, it was pretty economical.
Yeah.
To do, and you can find things in places like that, and I think that's an investment in your relationship that will pay dividends, just like compounded interest in your retirement funds. So if you want compounded interest in your retirement funds, you need to also invest into your relationship so you can get those same compounded interest and dividends and love tokens and banks in this relationship. Because if this doesn't work, like I guess I keep saying it, the money is not going to work.
I was going to say too, if you don't invest in your relationship, it doesn't matter what you do with your money. Because in my opinion, and I suppose it might be easy for me to say this, but if we can have all the money in the world, but if our relationship isn't tight, what does that matter?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think that does help us get into...
It's easy for you to say because, You married to me.
Wow.
You know,
You're right, babe.
I make it easy for you.
What about it makes it easy that you I maybe you should expound on that. Help me. I don't know. Maybe my memory is
I
failing
keep you
me. You
laughing.
do.
I make light and jest of things, and
Woo.
you know,
True.
I'm pretty lighthearted. You know,
Most
most
of the
of the
time,
time.
yes,
There's a
correct.
few things that I kind of go in on, but it's a very small list. So
Yeah, you're right. You're honestly, I feel like we are not people who fuss and argue or disagree
yeah.
emphatically to where we can't come to
Well, they
some type
say
of
ain't nobody got time for that.
right, exactly. But I think this does bring up another point about empty nesting is that hopefully by the time you're at a point where your kids are out of the house, you can actually enjoy your money. So
Hmm.
even if you do spend more, like you want to be able to enjoy it. So for instance, one, I think it's important for you to look at, are you on track for retirement? If not, what needs to change? Are you, I mean, as a person, I mean, I'm not going to say age or anything, but I feel like when you're in your 50s, like we need to be talking about paying this mortgage off, right? Um and
Yeah,
I think
that frees up a whole lot of
yeah.
income if you
Yeah.
have no debt and no mortgage. But you got to make sure you were saving for your retirement first.
Right.
So even if you're putting off paying off the mortgage and you're focused on retirement, that's probably the important first step. After you
Right.
get out of debt and you're saving for retirement, and I say put that even above, paying for kids' education, because if you can't take care of yourself,
That part.
then how you gonna take care of them?
And that's the third thing I was going to say is at this phase of life, a lot of times if you have children, their college or their next step. So be it college or if they're going to work or you know, you might be at a phase where they graduated high school and they're still in your house. And that might
Hmm.
not technically be considered, empty nesting. But at this phase of life, you should be thinking about how you can help move them along, advance them, and it shouldn't break your bank for your own retirement. I think that balance between what can we do, are we on track, and are my kids going to be all right
Look,
that's the dance we do.
if you didn't watch last week, go back and visit the bank of mom and dad, because
Yeah.
we're clipping their wings if we don't help them go out there and learn how
That's
to fly.
right. And
So
so, but I think a lot of parents tend to spend money on their kids and not think about their own retirement, and the
yeah.
empty nester phase is when you really need to be paying attention to, am I doing everything I need to do to take care of me first, and then make sure they can fly.
So let's talk about this. Make it worth it. And so for me, I don't want you to get confused. Enjoy your kids while you have them, because we have two beautiful daughters. I enjoy every moment of having them as children, and I even enjoy them so much more as adults. And so enjoy those moments and make preparation for the next phase in life. Because I think one of the toughest things for parents is when your kids reach an age of 18, 22 if they've gone to college. Letting go and letting them make decisions is probably one of the toughest decisions for parents, or one of the toughest things for a parent to embrace, because you're used to making all the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say enjoy them while they're there, but just know, like they said, don't kill your kids because better ones are on the way.
I'm not ready for
I'm
grandparenting
certainly
though,
not ready for that.
but
And,
I
and
hear
and we're
you.
not talking about that today, but
Right.
I'm just saying enjoy that phase, because a better phase is on the way.
Yeah, because I'm enjoying them. I even said this to our oldest recently that I really like the relationship we have right now. I
Yeah.
said it to my mother. I was like, I really like the relationship that we have right now. And so it's a sweet spot probably for where we are. And so my make it worth it is invest in your relationship. You know,
That's good.
so be it with travel or communication or, you know, making sure you have a solid financial future, like invest in your relationship because, you know, this is the person who's going to be with me for the rest of
Right.
my life and the rest of his life. And
I'm the one
so,
that's gonna plug your hover round
you
in
know
to
what? I'm
make
not
sure
gonna
it's
have no hover.
charged.
No, I'm gonna be doing your hover.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna have no hover
See,
round.
see
Okay.
now, but we gonna you
I'm
know
gonna
what we
keep
gonna be
I'm gonna
doing?
keep biking and lifting weights
We're
and
gonna
working
be
out.
getting each other out the bed. Like, come on, honey, let's
Like,
go
come
for
on, you
our.
going to the gym
Let's
with me
go. Let's
today?
go. We gonna be 75. Talking about some.
Right. So
You
I'm
gonna
going.
go
We
to the
going to the
gym?
gym. Look, we're gonna be up in the gym in our 70s, 80s, still doing the thing.
So that's my way. Make it worth it. Is invest in your relationship. So this
So this
was
was,
good.
yeah, I enjoyed this. So until next time, folks,
We're out.
thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.